thank you again for taking the time to talk to me. I feel like I'm being very selfish with The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel this season. I haven't had a chance to cover it at all for the Emmys, so when it was an opportunity to snag it, I could. So, and actually, you guys were my first Maisel interview of the season. I think you're probably my last Maisel interview of the season.
You're bookending with us.
Yeah, beginning and ending.
It's perfect.
Oh, that's awesome.
I sort of wanted to ask, for One Less Angel, what was it sort of like when you found out that you found the perfect hook for the song? And I sort of also wanted to know how long it took you to write the song.
I mean, I know. Yes, listen, it was when it happens. We worked really quickly on it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And what's kind of exciting about what we were doing is that we were always in a state of collaboration with Amy and Dan and the team, which was kind of what made the whole thing kind of just epically awesome for us. And so when we first started doing it, Tom and I went away and we wrote these songs very quickly. And One Less Angel was one of like probably 8 songs we wrote. And by that I mean songlets. We wrote about 8 songs over a weekend. Tom had written about 8 hooks. Actually, he wrote about 20 hooks. And we picked about 8 of them that we liked. And then we started setting them. Now, we didn't write the whole song over that weekend, but we wrote like a verse and a chorus of what each of those things might be.
Oh, a lot.
One of them was One Less Angel, and one of them was No One Has to Know, and one of them was Bottle of Pop. And we sent all 8 of those songs, or 7 or however, off to Amy and Dan.
Okay.
It was a very conscious decision on our part that we knew we were going to be shaping who Shai Baldwin was with these songs and helping convince you that he was a big star, that there was going to be a lot of weight on that first song. And so we wanted to give Amy and Dan a lot of possibilities to say like, that's Shai, that's not Shai. This is, as we started to sort of hone in on what the song would be. And immediately Amy put her finger on One Less Angel. Was like, that's it. That's the one. Now we had to go away and make it a full song and make it perfect. Yeah. So when you ask like, when did the hook come together? Like the actual phrase came really early, almost as soon as we got the assignment. It was one of those things on my list. But honing the melodic hook of it took a lot of work of back and forth. I mean, Curtis has like probably 20 different iTunes like library full of demo versions of the song where it's just slightly different until we felt like it just flowed, until it was effortless.
It takes a lot of effort to look effortless. That's what we're trying to do. Because it really needed to establish Shai as a hit. Like it had to feel like something that you heard on the radio back then, or something that we all should know, but somehow missed that record, you know? And that was kind of what we were really trying to go for with doing that. Because it was just so important to, you know, you can say someone is a star, but unless it really feels like they're a star, it's not gonna really have that weight.
You know that feeling when you're watching a movie or a TV show where they talk about someone's writing or they're singing and they talk and talk about how much a star they are, and then they come out and sing a song and you're like, I don't think that would have been a hit. That's the pressure. And so you want it to just people to go like, oh yeah, wasn't that a hit? Yeah, I think that's probably a real hit.
Right. And I think, you know, and you know, like Tom said, we don't always know right away when we're doing it. We're relying on our instincts, which are, you know, we knew we wanted to get to the hook as fast as we could. We knew we wanted to get something that would be an earworm. We love that. I mean, that's personally what we love as well. I mean, that's how we write songs anyway. I mean, everybody wants that. I can't speak for everybody, but that's what we love when we wite a song, is getting that thing that lets you feel it in your body and sort of sticks with you and is a fun phrase to be, you know, to be hearing. And then, you know, it turned out to be it turned out to be better than we even hoped, because when we got into the space and we got to start working with Darius DeHaas, the singer, and with Leroy and with Amy and Dan, you could see that they were all getting so into the piece. You know, it was really exciting for us, you know, all the way through, you know, going on set with them. You know, we kind of were part of that entire process. And you know, the minute we brought the song in, it became this full collaboration where it was like, how can we make this as integrated as possible with Shai Baldwin, and, you know, and us being integrated with the arrangements, and, you know, getting to conduct certain parts of it. And it was a very collaborative thing. And that I think so often there's a disconnect sometimes with music when it's used in film. And I think Tom and I were both so happy that this process was so integrated for us. Like we were part of it the whole time, and, you know, and everybody knows that on Maisel that having the elements come together is what makes the show so fantastic, I think.
Yeah.
Right? You know what I mean? So I think music was the same thing. You know, they brought us in as that side of that team, and it was really it was a dream.
Because I had actually wondered about, because if I was in your position and I was doing that, knowing that any show that they do, especially this one with Maisel, everything is so authentic and so insanely detailed. I had wondered if maybe authenticity was like the biggest thing like looming over it the whole time, especially with that particular song.
There is always, we looked at it sort of as a double thing with Maisel, is that they do research down to everything. I mean, the matchbooks on the tables are correct. But at the same time, it's turned up a notch. You know, the colors are, they pick the boldest colors from the era. They pick the sparkliest quality. So we knew we had room to sort of take what was authentic. We listened to a lot of songs. We have a list of songs that we listened to from the era and kept researching and researching. But then we decided, like, what can we bring to it to turn it up that Maisel 11, as we kept saying. Like, what's going to make it feel sparklier? What's going to make it feel...
it's got to have that heightened sense. You know,
you're falling in love with Shy, like that song.
Yeah.
So it should be a love song about falling in love.
It's a great way to put it. It's like it's the audience. We want it to be the audience's love song for Shy Baldwin. Like, it's what makes you really hook in as a character.
Yeah, and it comes like it's in the first episode, within like the first 5 minutes. And
it's his first scene in the season.
Yeah, and it's sort of, and from season 2, it sort of gives us that buildup. It sort of feels like the first time we see him perform on stage is really like a huge payoff, because we've heard about him in season 2, and now that was like the setup, and we've waited until season 3 starts, and now we see it, and like the audience can sort of even like breathe a little bit more, because it's just like they can just sort of bask in that. And actually, the way that you say everything needs to be turned up a little bit, it sort of makes me feel every time that I watch the show that it would sort of make the people that live through that time period maybe feel a little bit, not better about that, but maybe remember the time period more fondly than it had before. That's like the big thing that I feel like every time I watch it.
Without being like sepia toned, it's not a show that's about like this soft, safe memory of a time. It's vibrant and alive and sexy and funny. So that's a different sort of period twist that we wanted to ride and hopefully meet.
Okay. I wanted to ask your opinion on something. Maybe I'm just thinking too much about it because I love the show so much. I had wondered about the relationship between Shy and Reggie a lot. I think about it like anytime I watch the show. Their relationship is so interesting. There's a lot that is not said. A lot is inferred in looks that they have between each other. I actually had the pleasure of speaking to Leroy, and I asked him if he was in love with Reggie. And I wanted to know, maybe from your perspective, because I was listening to the music again today, I was like, could the Shy's two big songs, One Less Angel and No One Has to Know, did you always have in mind that could potentially be an emotional arc for him? Or like, do you have an opinion of whether he is in love with Reggie or not?
Well, I'll start with the one. I mean, I can say, writing-wise, definitely, we always approach songs from the standpoint of like, how can we be both? You know, ultimately, it has to be his hit ballad, right? That's number one. It has to be the song that was his hit on the radio. But also, of course, because we're writing and we're in that, and we're writing it specifically for him, we knew we could write this character arc for him too, you know, in the way that a lot of those great movies do that, where you have a song that sort of is about one thing, but really it's talking about something else. And I think that's kind of, we approached it as like almost like an 11 o'clock number for a musical, like what we would do in theater. And so we wanted to give him something that would work in that world. And I think what's so great about Tom's lyric in that song is that it allows you as a viewer, which I think we're kind of all seeing, like to kind of try to come up with what that story might be. And you know there's something much, much deeper going on. You know what I mean? We don't see it all. And Amy intentionally doesn't show us all of that, so we don't know exactly what that story is, but you can imagine what that story is. And I think the song helps to give even more of that, like, the way that's shot too, you can see him looking at Reggie, and you're wondering what is that relationship like,
There was a very specific moment in recording No One Has to Know that Amy wanted that pause that happens in the song. What's the lyric? He goes, no one has to know.
I love you.
I want you. And then holds like endlessly, no one but you. And he looks over to Reggie. We had originally recorded it, had it on a demo, a certain length, and she wanted it like infinitely longer, which is saying a lot because she loves things to move.
We always speed it up.
But that was like, give him all the time he can take to take in Reggie. We have no more insight than you do about what their intention is there. I certainly believe that Shai loves Reggie. I think there's whether that's because he's his best friend since they were young or whatever, there's clearly a love and a hurt and such a heartbreaking emotion there between them. And I think you sort of speak of an arc. I always think of it as One Less Angel is his smooth outer surface, and No One Has to Know by the 6th episode is his interior. And that's the arc that we get to show.
Oh God.
Sorry.
No, anytime I watch that number, it just makes me swoon in the weirdest way, just because he's so charismatic as an actor, and the singing voice is just so like, and then like, there's something about that scene where he looks at Reggie in the wings, and there's even something with how Rachel even sort of like takes a step back as if she knows that maybe she doesn't belong in that moment, maybe
intimate circle,
or maybe she's invading it, that I thought just makes me obsessed.
Gives me chills, that moment when I saw
they had a lot of conversations on set privately. Amy would take Leroy aside, and I know Leroy and Darius had a lot of conversations as well. Darius, who sings it, they would huddle, and so there's a lot of thought that went into that moment.
Okay.
It's a huge thing for him.
Yeah. Okay. I saw recently online that someone, I think they were in Germany.
Yeah.
They were singing it. Can you sort of talk to me what it's sort of like? Because I mean, this is your first season where it's first Emmy nomination. You guys are doing all these things, and I feel like the music is being pushed a lot. So I feel like it's getting a lot of really awesome reactions of people that may be discovering it for the first time. Can you sort of talk to me about what it feels like to see something like that just magically pop up on Twitter?
I mean, it's incredible. He actually reached out to us. And said
for permission,
which is so sweet. And he was just like, I want to do a cover of your thing in German. And I love. We were like, of course. It's just incredible it's so lovely to hear someone interpret it. The song right now, it's brand new. I mean, it is funny when people say, oh, how long is that song? It's like barely a year old.
Right.
And and hopefully it sounds like a classic, or it feels that world. That's what we went for. And the song lives in an arrangement that we spent a lot of time working on. And how the sound would work, and spending hours and hours in the studio perfecting that with the best musicians in New York, and and then having Darius just collaborate with you and make that amazing performance, and then add him with Leroy. So it's a whole thing. So then that was what we sort of came up with, and then so to see other people interpreting it in completely new and different ways it's incredible. It really is. It's so touching. It's exactly what we do all day long when we're listening to other songs and we're playing things on the piano, and we're and now someone has had a chance to do that with ours. It's a real wonderful thing, and we do not take that lightly. It's a great
we share stuff all the time. Chris and I will write each other, be like, can you believe someone was singing One Less Angel? Like there's a drag queen who's performing One Less Angel right now. We sent each other a video of it.
I haven't seen that. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And it just makes us so happy because it just means the song is doing what we hoped it would do, like in particular with One Less Angel, that song, it's living in the way those classic songs do. It's making people just want to sing and dance to it and interpret it. So it's kind of fun.
I mean, I will shamelessly admit that anytime it like comes on, I'm probably annoying the hell out of my neighbors, my new neighbors. Sorry that I sing that song anytime it comes on. And the thing is, with that song, the way that it seamlessly, I think we talked last time about how the hook always just comes back. It's sort of, I'm always surprised when the song is over because it feels good to listen to it, and it feels like the kind of song that you grew up with, and it feels like something that's been stuck in the back of your brain for a really long time. Yeah, sorry.
No, thank you.
So,
you know, we did grow up with those songs, or what our parents listened to.
yeah.
We grew up listening to songs from the 50s and 60s, and that was what my first record collection was, all of those. And Tom grew up in Detroit and was listening to that stuff with his parents. It's a world that we love to live in, and so to get to play in that box is, especially with the Maisel team, is so incredible. We just were in love with it the whole time, and it's a great family to be working with and a great space to be in. And and when getting back to the song, it's a short song, and we did that intentionally because we didn't want to. Well, we wanted to make sure that the song would be used, and we wanted to get the story in. We didn't know at first how much of the song would be used, so we were extremely happy when we shot the whole song. That's very rare, and it was great. So yes, it's a hooky song that sticks with you, and we're sorry.
Exactly. Sometimes I'll write back to people and say sorry, because they'll be like, I can't get it out of my head,
right.
And I'm like,
you're welcome. You're welcome.
Sorry and thank you.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I even feel like, me personally, anytime the song comes on in the season, there's that really awesome moment when they're in, oh gosh, where am I blanking?
Miami, when Maren, when her mom dances to it.
And she's just like, I feel like that is sort of, anybody that I've talked to about the show, that's sort of their reaction. They're just like, wow, they just want to get up and dance around to that song. So
it's a kitchen dance song. That's what we want. We want you with your martini dancing around your kitchen. I mean, that is.
I've done that.
If we do nothing else, then they'll be happy.
No, 100%. That sequence is so funny. I just love it so much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a lot of third season. It just makes me like crack up so much. There's so much. It's so good. I guess one last question to ask you. You guys are working on a new musical, right?
Mm-hmm. You have a couple musicals and
a few ones we're working on, yeah.
Maybe I just saw the one online that you were working. What is? Can you tell me anything about something that you guys are working on together next?
Sure. I mean, we have a couple projects in the works. Sort of in the Maisel world, we've been kind of working through sort of decades of the last century, and so we have a piece that for Universal, they asked us very incredibly to adapt one of their classic films into a musical. And so we're adapting Remember the Night. It's a Preston Sturges film with Barbara Stanwyck, and we're adapting it into a stage musical. And it is living in like this swanky 30s bubbly champagne world is really fun. And but also trying to make it modern, because the one thing that we, just like with Maisel, you don't want to sit into it like it's some sort of like dusty old, photo album on your great grandparents' shelf. You want it to feel like it's fresh and alive, because those people were just as funny and sexy and alive then as us. So they shouldn't feel
or
like.
So maybe in my case.
Speaking of the pandemic, we're all trapped.
Exactly. Yeah. So we've been having a blast working on that, and we've also got another show that we're writing that is a noir romance thriller, which is a mystery, which has been really great to work on too. And that's been all sort of it's a very jazz noir score that we've had a blast doing.
Okay.
Have you been in like a theater when you saw a thriller and everybody jumping together? Like that's the best feeling. So we want to write a
It has to
music.
be really hard to do a thriller for like live theater. Like I've obviously been in like a movie theater, and I feel like the one thing that I keep going back to that I wish I would have seen is I wish I would have had a chance to see like the Rebecca musical because I love that movie. But like if you watch like just watching that commercial with like all the fire and
Yes.
it looks
I
insane.
missed it too. I wish I'd seen it. I would love to have seen the huge fire moment.
That's totally what this show is gonna like. What there are descriptions of so many billowing curtains in the script for our new musical. It's,
Lots of scans. Yes. Things come out and yeah.
Yeah.
Listen,
Shadows.
if we do it right, there's a lot of fun magic and a lot of fun scares, you know, and it's a great romance. So that's, yeah, we're super excited about all this stuff. It's good to keep busy and keep pushing forward. So we're
What's happening? What are you talking about?
Yeah, and
We're-
hope for
we're in
season
lockdown,
4.
so
Come
yeah.
on, season
hopefully we'll
4.
be back to season 4.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, actually, let's do like a whole offshoot, like Maisel spin-off of just Shy's perspective. And you can just do it.
Sure.
Be a musical. It'll be a big MGM. What is that face?
No, there's no. That's just something. That's something we've teased about a lot. It's like, what if we just, just did they? It's like the Marvel universe, Maisel universe has like now the Shy Baldwin show and the Silver Bells, and that's their own show.
You can just write a whole ballad of him on that plane, of him.
Don't you want to know what he's thinking?
Yeah, just do that.
Does he even know?
There'll be stewardesses
Yeah.
walking around. It'll be fun.
Come on over.
Oh, I've got
We'll
lots
work
of
on it.
theories, and we don't know anything yet at all yet. So
So we'll find out.
guess is as good as ours.
Awesome. Okay, so thank you guys so much for taking the time to talk to me again. I'm batshit crazy in love with the show. So good luck to you guys. I really hope you guys win. I feel like you guys have a really great shot. I wish you guys could actually like go to a ceremony.
I know.
This is what the ceremony will be like for us.
Welcome to
Welcome to our Emmy night. Here it is.
No, listen, we're so excited and happy to be part of the family. The thing that's sad is that we can't celebrate with the group, but we'll do it on Zoom, and it's, it's awesome. It's just been such a great time. Thank you for having us. This is great.
It's so great to be like Curtis said. They've got 20 nominations, and for us to be just one of those is sort of crazy. It's just crazy. So we just text each other and enjoy that we are celebrating in our own way.
Yeah, that's great.